Hi again, everybody. Ryan Horn from Ryan'sTechTips.com. Welcome back. If you didn't see part one of this video series, updated changes to Google Classroom, you're going to want to check that out. That link is below in the description. In part one, we talked about comparing the updated version of Google Classroom to the older version of Google Classroom. In part one, we also talked about the new classwork page in Google Classroom, as well as the new setting page. But in this video, in part two, we're going to discuss the changes to grading, how you can grade assignments in Google Classroom. You're really going to love it. It saves a lot of time. We're going to talk about how you can copy an entire Google Classroom. Maybe you've made a Google Classroom in the past. You want to copy its entire contents. All of the assignments, all of the posts you've ever done, how do you copy those to a new Google Classroom? We'll talk about that. And also in this part two video, we're going to talk about the new improved People page. So let's get started. And you know what? I'm going to pause right there because before we get started, I want to say this. This is a simple baseline video for understanding the functions of the new Google Classroom. Okay? Once we understand those functions, then you can come back for some other videos where we're going to talk about some Google Classroom assignments, how we can construct those to really push our students' thinking. Instead of just giving them digital worksheets, how to really push their thinking and get them into those higher level thinking skills. That's not what this video is. This video is understanding the updates to Google Classroom. We need to know that first. So let's dig in. I'm going to open up in Teacher View, one of my new Google Classrooms. And this Google Classroom, again, has been created just a few days ago since the update to Google in August. And I'm going to go over grading. So I'm going to go to the classwork page again as the teacher, and I'm going to find an assignment that I'd like to grade. That would be assignment number 002, the scavenger hunt here. So as the teacher, I'm going to single click on the title of the assignment to open this up. And I'm going to need to get to the student work so I can view the student work and then give grades and some feedback. So once I get to student work, I can click on here to see the 12 students who have turned in their work. And from here, I can start giving grades to my students. Now, in the past, if you've used Google Classroom, you would remember that you would have to click on one student here to view their work in a new tab. You could give them a grade, and then you would have to close out of this tab and come back here and open up the other next student's work. And it was a really slow workflow. Now, you could also, of course, just type in grades over here on the left, but you couldn't see student work that way. Here's what's really cool about the updated version of Google Classroom. When you open up some student work, their documents will pop up on your screen. Over here on the right is a place for you to enter the grade. So I click once. This assignment's worth 100 points. I'm going to type in 100. Lindsay got everything accomplished she needed to in this video. And what I can do is also add a private comment for Lindsay. How many times with your students are you finding yourself re-entering the same comment over and over? Google has addressed that. They have a comment bank now that's in the top right. And when you click on the comment bank, it's going to be empty at first. The comment bank is your own comment bank. It's not Google's comment bank. So what you can do is click the plus sign here and add any comments you want to your comment bank. And then you can press OK or add, and that's going to add that comment to your comment bank. You can add as many comments as you want, things that you find yourself typing over and over again. And then what you can do, instead of typing in private comments, you can go to the comment bank. You can click on the three dots. It's the More Buttons button, as I like to call it in Google. So I'm going to go to the More Buttons button and say, I want to copy this comment to my clipboard. And then I can paste that here on my private comments, and I can post. At this time, I can choose to return the assignment to my student. They can still see their assignment, but they're in view only mode right now. If I press return, that gives the student full editing rights, and the student will then make sure that they can see their grade. And how do I get to the next student work? This is so easy. This is why it's so much better than clicking back and forth here. You can either come to this drop-down box here and choose another student, or you can simply click this button to move to the next student in your list that needs a grade. So I type in a grade. I'm going to go to the comment bank, copy to clipboard, and I'm going to go back to add private comment and paste my comment there and post. And now I can return Tracy's assignment to her as well. So the grades, again, you can enter grades on the left, but it's so much easier to actually look at the student work, give them the comments as their assignment is actually pulled up. And I really, really am a big fan of the new grading feature in Google Classroom. So let's return back to our classwork page. The next thing I want to talk about is we're going to switch to the people page in Google Classroom, because we've reviewed how to enter some grades, but I want to take a look at the people page. So people is a new tab on the updated version of Google Classroom. Teachers and co-teachers will be at the top. If you need to invite a co-teacher, you need to go to the people page, and here's the button to invite teachers. Okay? Here are your students. And from here, this is where we can choose to email all guardians. We can choose to email that student. We can choose to invite a student to the class, but that's where I'm a big fan of giving the student that class code. And if you remember from part 1 video, to get to the class code, there's a couple ways to do that. In the stream, you can go to the About section, and here's the class code you can display. Or you can go to the settings and find the class code that way as well. But let's get back to that people page. So with the people page, again, this is where you can select students one at a time. You can remove those students if you need to, email those students, or if the student is leaving maybe too many comments on assignments or too many comments on the stream, this is how you can mute those students. They can still turn in their work. They just can't type public comments for others to see. You can see this icon here means that John Appleseed is muted. And then I can always select John again. And then I had a talk with him. John promises he's going to follow our class social contract. He's ready to follow our class rules, so then I can unmute John that way and bring it back to the rest. So far in this video, we've taken a look at grading. We've taken a look at the people page. And the last thing we're going to talk about in this part 2 video is how you can copy an entire class in Google Classroom and put that, or create a new class from it. So I'm going to go back to my classes screen. Many teachers in the past have wanted to know, hey, I had a Google Classroom last year. I'm teaching a similar class this year. How can I copy all of that content into a new Google Classroom without having to recreate it or delete all my students out and start again? Here's one thing that you can do. And this only works with classes that have the classwork page. So if you're on a class that does not have the classwork page, because this is a class I created before August of 2018, I can't copy this class. I can still reuse posts from this class, but I can't copy it. This will work for new classes. So you can see when I go to the More Buttons button of this class, I have these options. But when I go to the More Buttons button of this class, now I have copy. And when I select copy, this pops up. This is what you'd like to call the class, copy of, and you can change this to anything you want. Here's your section, here's your subject and room number. And when you press copy, here's what it's going to look like. It's going to copy all of the topics and all of the classwork that you've created, but it's going to leave your roster empty. So there's not going to be any students in there. And any announcements that you've made to the stream, it's not going to have those either, because this is going to be a blank canvas. But it is nice because you don't have to make new assignments and you don't have to make anything that's new on that classwork page. It said there was an error, but I noticed that my copy came up instead, and it's right here, and it's creating that class for me. So this is part 2 of the updated Google Classroom. Stay tuned to our website at ryanstechtips.com for more, and we'll catch you next time.